we get to work together, myself and the boys in It Lives, It Breathes. You guys start working together, and then Kevin from It Lives, It Breathes says, hey, you're going to be stunt guitar on this one, and we want to write it together. And for me, I've told this before, and not just in our conversations, but to anyone who will listen, like, man, that theme always meant so much to me too, for a bunch of reasons. Number one, you're one of my wrestlers of all time, right? I'm just like, this is one of the guys who, if I could choose a roster of people to work with, is one of them. Second, being able to be that young into my career of the entrance themes and being like, all right, cool. Guess what? You worked here, and now we're going to be jamming something out for Brian Myers. And then hearing like one of the text messages that went through was Kevin's like, yo, you got to see this. And it's you being like, yo, I'm jamming this in my car and I fucking love it. And I'm like, dude, that's the coolest affirmation in the world to be like, Brian Myers like it. Let's go.
Yeah, that was shout out to Johnny Clash, one of my day one wrestling students at Creative Pro Wrestling. Which is funny, like it's funny how much the landscape changed between two firings, because people, the first time I was like, oh, by WWE, nobody had a custom song. You just EC style, pick something off the radio or whatever, you know what I mean, or anything.
Yeah.
Licensed music, and that's what everyone did. And then here I am, 4 years later back in the Indies, and it's like, oh no, people won't, everything's streamed and people won't air this. And I knew I was going to be going to TNA, and I needed a song, and I didn't really want to put that in their hands because why would I? And I was like, okay, cool. And Johnny Clash introduced me to those guys and you, and man, like, I know that first cut I got was like no lyrics, and I would just drive it. It was summertime of 2020, and I would drive around my town, like run my errands, and I would play it so fucking loud just to like get a feel for it with the windows down. And I remember just one day going like, shit, this is it. Like they're onto something. And then the first cut with the lyrics, it came to me while I was at TNA, and like they literally had to play it that day at the taping, where I was going to debut. And I remember walking around with my headphones backstage playing it, and like literally like with chills, with the lyrics and stuff, how just, it was perfect. It was perfect. Like, I mean, every disappointment I had in that last Jim Johnston story, this is like superseded all those expectations. Like almost like that Jim Johnston thing happened to me for this to exist. You know what I mean? The disappointment of that for this to supersede my expectations, just
Yeah.
an epic ballad.
This is the superhero redemption arc is what you're trying to say.
Right. Yeah.
And I love the lyrics too, because, cashed a lot of checks, took a lot of hits, made my rounds like a weekend warrior. Like I'm looking the lyrics up while we're talking here, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just, for me, when I read these lyrics too, and when I was sent the lyrics, because I worked on the music side, obviously, and then Kevin throws all these lyrics, and Kevin's a great lyricist. But for me, one of my weaknesses as a composer has always been lyrics, because I'm instrumental first. And I'm just like, you painted this picture of Brian Myers being like the most epic wrestler while telling this full story. And I think working on your theme, it was such an eye opener of there are instrumental themes over time that really hit and are really good. And even a lot of them that I make. But I think that if you can really nail down the lyrics for somebody, it makes it that much more
For
personal.
sure.
And it's got to make it even more enveloping for you too.
Mm. And it's back to what we do. We tell stories in the ring. The song is telling a story that's only helping enhance the experience of seeing my character, right?
Yeah.
It goes hand in hand.